Well, welcome in for another SPL weekly recap with Finch and Dave. The whole crew is back here again.
We're back.
Remember, folks at home, the way this works is that we write the scripts for each other and then read them for the very first time right here and now. So let's hop right in. Week 9 would prove to be one of the more wild weeks in the SPL that we've had up until this point. And the action got started right away on Friday afternoon. First off, Dave was back from vacation, and we love that. But also, Radiance versus Ghost was slated as potentially the top matchup of the week, and it didn't disappoint unless you were looking for very close individual games. Like a page from Mifflin's Dream Journal, though, the junglers take over this set, but Sam does it twice to give Ghost the win. 3 straight 27-minute games is what we have to show for this set, and it's not all that surprising when you look at how the teams got their wins. Game 1 was a back-and-forth race between Sam and Panda to see who would finish with more kills, and Sam would end up with 6, but also 7 assists, affecting 13 of 15 Ghost kills. Now, Game 2, Radiance really got back to their roots, adapting back on the Unbot and Benji on something that can carry in Amaterasu. Despite losing first blood, Unbot would find his way into the kill column repeatedly, and the snowball gets out of control, leaving Ghost behind. It was a much-needed game for adapting to get some confidence going. The final bit of ping-pong occurs in Game 3, and it's back to Sam to get Ghost the win. Given Finch's D&D character is currently MIA underwater being held by a kraken due to no fault at all of Dave's, none whatsoever, It was also tough to watch Poseidon locked in for Twig. A gank on the final K gives Radiance an early lead, but there's an immediate response from Sam to help set up a kill for his team. A couple minutes later, it's a 2-0-1 Thanatos after a double kill for the Ghost jungler. Captain Twig is somehow the unsung hero of this game for Ghost alongside Sam. The Krakens were connecting and put down Radiance a few times. But it's truly Thanatos over and over and over again, the final game, and Ghost will take the set.
Thanks, Finch, and again, sorry I was missing last week. It turns out I'm actually a samurai, and I was thrown into the future by the shape-shifting master of darkness, Aku. I hope I pronounced that properly. Did I not? Oh no, maybe I messed it up.
You nailed
now that
it.
I'm back, though, I can refocus on the excellent sets we had, and the Knights vs. Renegades was no exception. PK came into this set hot, having beaten Ghost the week before, but they did not plan on cooling off. To get into the nitty-gritty a bit more, Cuvo, Fred, and Neo really dominated the pace of the first game. Renegades knew the early game was going to be important. Barra said as much in the interview, but knowing is only half the battle. Game 1 was controlled from start to finish by the Knights. The second game looked much better for the Renegades right up until Scary D started getting involved. He stole a Fire Giant and kept the Knights in the game long enough for Paul and the boys to recover from their weak start. Cuvo Fred also had the soul read on a sneaky backdoor attempt from the Renegades and backed into base in time to stop it. PK won 2-0, and we're on to Saturday.
Thanks, Dolson. If you like fun mid-lane picks, then you loved watching E-United versus Space Station. That is, if you're not a Space Station fan. But there's no chance Space Station lose this set. If they're playing the best team in the league, E-United are so inconsistent. And while the final statement may be the case, E-United at their peak, and maybe that means Herwin at his peak, is potentially one of the hardest teams to beat in the league. There's certainly team play in this set to give the mid laner space, but E-United roll over Space Station after a couple of lengthy games. It's Giannis for Herwin in Game 1, but before he'd get going, Snoopy would swing some of those beefy bean burrito Heimdallr auto attacks to snag the first blood for his squad. Now, as this game would go on, E-United would provide so much space and time over to Herwin to operate, and through that space and time, Giannis would be connecting. A few snipes later, and E-United roll on in Game 1. Now, if Hera is Dave's heartthrob, Baba Yaga is mine. I value stability, you know? She can cook a mean stew, she has a house, the whole package. That's right. I'm a Baba Yaga stan. And while it pained me to watch another man player, Herwin did it well. Now, while Space Station do get first blood and a decent early lead, we all learned that Baba Yaga's true power, it's in the late game. After immediate return kill, Scream would keep E-United in the game until Snoopy and Hurry could swing it late. It's the upset of the week, but E-United take it and keep their playoff hopes alive.
Well executed there, Finch. And again, sorry I couldn't be here last week. The 11-year-old kid who lives in my neighborhood has fairy godparents, and I had to hatch a series of harebrained schemes to try to prove it. Yeah, my last name's Crocker, by the way, if it's not Olsen, regardless of what you guys believe. Luckily, I still had time to catch the Knights versus Sanguine set, and boy, was it a doozy. Sanguine had a chance to tie for first with the win here, and they pulled out all the stops to find the dub. When it came down to it, Sanguine found two different ways to win. In Game 1, it was by holding on until the hyper-late game and overwhelming the Knights. Then in Game 2, they capitalized on some early game mistakes and steamrolled them. Even with Khepri, Aphrodite, and Kali, it wasn't enough late game to beat out Sanguine's coordination. Plus, it was just a lights-out performance from Rongyu. In Game 2, the Knights seemed tilted. I don't know if you guys have seen me after a bad ranked streak, so this is just me playing ranked in general. It's all bad. But they were about that level of tilted. Cubo Fred was diving tier 2 towers. Zapman was getting rocked in lane by Netrioid's Heimdall. Everything was clicking for Sanguine as they locked up the 2-0 and tied for first place overall. On to Sunday, Finch.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Let's see what you got here for me. Set 1 on Sunday between Renegades and Radiance is likely Dave's, and I'm sure a lot of viewers' favorite SPL set to date. It truly had it all. An early win for the underdog, a roaring comeback in Game 2, an hour-long game, Fire Giant steals, a game that is in the conversation of biggest comeback of all time, heartbreak, Dolson's silky smooth voice, and fantastic movie opinions, you know, the whole nine. It's all there. This set spans nearly 3 hours with desk time, and a 62-minute Game 3 brings us home with Radiance on top. All right, let's look at how we got there, though. And for the sake of doing Game 3 justice, we'll do a quick sweep of Games 1 and 2. Game 1, it's Renegades dictating the pace. Jake looked awesome on Emir. Evaninu had a standout game on the Raijin. By the 30-minute mark, there's an 18,000 gold lead for Renegades, and they won't fumble it away this time. Game 2, exactly the opposite. For Radiance are controlling the pace of the game. Renegades are able to answer back some pressure, but ultimately adapting is just rolling too hard on the Thor, and we're tied at 1-1. Alrighty, Game 3. My goodness. This game is looking just about over at 20 minutes in. Dave is talking to us about Top Gun, the most important volleyball scene in history, and Aggro is regaling us with tales of Rain Day's questionable band tier list. Yeah, I don't know. Rain Day knows a lot of stuff. I don't know if bands is one of them. Solar Troll is on Thor in solo, and Laspar has sat on Benji to build an 11k gold lead for Renegades at 19 minutes 30 seconds in the game, and a Fire Giant is started. This likely would have just ended the game, but adapting in Benji to stroll on in, take the Fire Giant away, and the game is stalled. No matter, the Radiant space still opens up 25 minutes in, and Phoenixes begin to fall. All three, as a matter of fact. It's an unthrowable game, right? Benji is still playing catch-up. Radiance can't leave their base. A Titan Siege leaves the Titan at 100 HP in the Radiance base. It really hurts to oversimplify this game for video link's sake, but the Renegades just get stuffed over and over and over and over again for 35 minutes. The game is even in all avenues aside from map pressure by the 45-50-minute mark, and Radiance find opening picks in the game from 3 Phoenixes down. I beg you to go watch at least Game 3 back, because seriously, it's one of the best games Dave's ever seen. Sorry, Renegades fans. Till next week, right? Good luck following that one, Dave.
Yeah, and that's masterfully read, as always there, Finch. And again, I just want to clear up any confusion about why I wasn't here last week. It turns out I'm the master of all 4 elements, and when the world needed me most, I vanished. So I was off dealing with the Fire Lord last weekend. I'm back now, though, so I could take you through the Obey Ghost set. If you thought Obey's days of one-sided stomps were over, Ghost were here to prove you wrong. It would only take 43 minutes of total playtime, that's the entire set, for Ghost to find the sweep. If I'm not careful, the recap will last longer than the set, so we'll make this one simple. Sometimes PBM just has one of those days, and Sunday was just one of those days. He got to play Hercules in both games, both them, and he completely controlled the map. In Game 2, he was killed for first blood before the minions spawned, and that didn't even slow him down. Obviously, Mike wasn't alone. Twig, Sam, and Final K all had great days, but the headline was clearly the Hercules. Ghost get the 2-0 and Obey are back to the drawing board. That's it, though. We done. And we are done. That's week 9 here in the SPL. Week number 10 starts right now.